Hi, and welcome back to the channel. You know, practicing scales is much like paying taxes and doing the washing up. It's one of those inevitabilities of life that you cannot evade. It will happen to you at some point, no matter how you try. Now, unlike paying taxes and doing the washing up, it needn't be boring. And in fact, it should never be boring. And this is one of the cardinal errors that many guitarists make. They tend to sort of just see it as a bit of a chore and sort of, either shirk it altogether or rush through it and don't give it any thought. Now, even if you've been playing as long as I have, you still need to maintain them. You've got to keep on top of these things because obviously it's core to what you do. So today we're going to look at 10 killer ways of making your scale practice not only more creative, but more effective. So stick around and we'll get stuck into the first one. Top tip number 1, rhythm. So the first part of this, we're going to look at wonky rhythms, long, short rhythms. There's two main variations on this. The first one is where you take a triplet, and that basically the two of those will be the long, and the remaining one will be the short, very often known as jazz quavers or swung. So that would sound like this. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 tacky to tacky to tacky to tacky to tacky to tacky. Like so. The next variation is where you divide the beat into 4 semiquavers. Tackadimmy, 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 tackadimmy. And again, the long is 3 of those, and then the remaining one is the short one. So tackadimmy, 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 tackadimmy. So then we have what I call going through the gears. So you're going to go from playing 1 note per beat, 2, 3, 4 as you go along. Okay. So that might go like this. Like so. That's trickier than it seems because you're going to run out of notes. You've got to make some sort of position shift and find the next notes. So it's a good builder for improvisation. And finally, we have playing off the beat. So we're going to do something quite simple, really, on paper. You're going to play crotchet note lengths, but we're going to play them on the off beat. People do struggle with this. So on the beat is off the beat is that's it. You can even have a go at flipping between. Top tip number 2, dynamics. So very simple stuff you can do to start with. Loud, soft, soft, loud. Take a scale, start soft, go loud. The other way around. Things like that. Another good one to do is accentation patterns. As a guitarist, because we're 3 notes per string, we tend to practice or tend to emphasize every third note on the scale because of the string layout, which of course we want to avoid. So running against that is a good one. The starter for that is just doing 4s, which you'd naturally do in a group of semiquavers. Or more interestingly, 5s or 7s. Let's do 5s. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. And that develops your ability to accent any note at will within a line or a solo or whatever you might be doing. Very important to be able to do that. Top tip number 3, articulation. Okay, well, there's any number of different things here. An obvious one is just doing palm muting. So and make sure you can do it all the way across all the strings. Like that. Legato. Simple enough. Slightly more extreme. Okay, so you're sliding it with every note. So again, bit of a handful to do on every single note, but it's a good thing to practice. Okay, top tip number 4, bending scales. So here I'm going to take the last note of each string and bend it up rather than fretting it normally. So you get this sort of thing. So you can use it sort of as a way into longer runs. That sort of thing. Tip number 5, sustained scales. So here I'm going to hold the last note of every string until I need that finger on the next string. So you get a kind of sustaining blurring of the scale, sort of like this. So this is clearly hardcore actually. This is a lot harder than it looks, so for most people anyway. Top tip number 6, squeeze and release. So again, this is another aspect of articulation, but it helps develop things like legato technique as well. It's kind of a little bit of a hidden secret. So, you know, when you fret a note, you're squeezing between the thumb and the finger to produce the pressure to produce the note. And then when you've done it, ideally, you don't automatically lift off. You can just stop squeezing. And this is where we get economy of motion from. And also control over note lengths, and again, articulation. So here you're just going to do it on every single note. So there should be a little bit of air, a little bit of breath between every note. So just simple. So obviously there's a kind of limit to how quickly you can do that, but trying to get faster is actually very good practice. It also encourages a lightness of touch, which is no bad thing at all. Okay, top tip number 7, 4 notes per string. Pretty much says what it is on the tin, but it's a very useful technique for learning to get around the neck in different ways and get more creative with things. So yeah, whatever, you know. I'll put a link to a video that I've done previously that talks about this in a bit more detail. Okay, top tip number 8, 2 notes per string. Yeah, that's right. So here, you're always going to be moving diagonally either one way or the other. So again, C major. So again, it's going to make you think about the neck a bit differently. A bit more differently there. Yeah, you know what I mean. Top tip number 9, descending only. One of the bad habits that we tend to carry over from classical music training is always practicing scales from low to high and back again. Now, of course, on the guitar, when you're improvising, you might be going in any direction in any given moment. And usually people develop a weakness that they're not so confident in knowing where the notes are descending from the top string downwards. So just going down like this. etc. Okay, pop pickers coming in at number 10 with a banger. 6 notes in a slide. So this, again, pretty much says what it is on the tin. Think about it, we've got 7 notes in a normal scale. We can play 2 lots of 3, 2 strings in other words. And this slide is the 7th. Which is a very powerful technique, very useful if you've got small hands as well. A lot of players that struggle with sort of bigger stretches can utilise this. So yeah, I'll go through that again. So I'm going to go. So I'm playing down to the A there. Now the nice thing about that is it puts my little finger over the next G, so just to repeat. So it repeats in octaves. Etc. Like so. So there you have it, folks. 10 ways to turbocharge your scale practice. It need never be boring again. In fact, it should never be boring again. Now, here's the kicker. Each one of those individual ideas will improve your playing and give you new depth to what you're doing. But here's the kicker. To make the most out of them, you combine them. And you can think about the gamut of those things in 3 broad terms. You've got rhythm, you've got articulation, you've got dynamics. You can add in the melodic aspect as well if you want, but I'm going to cover that in a different video. So, for instance, you might decide, I'm going to play G major, for instance, in jazz quavers rhythmically, dynamically going from loud to soft, maybe back again, and palm muted. So you've got those 3 elements combined. And then maybe you're running a set of modes. You're going to go on to A Dorian. You pick something else. You play the legato. You play, dotted rhythm. You play all one tone, or you put an accent pattern in. All those options are available to you. So as you work through a set of modes, as I say, every single one will be done with a different rhythm, a different dynamic, and a different articulation. And as I say, you can work in melodic variations as well. That way, your scale practice should become a creative thing, and it may well lead to ideas and riffs and so forth. So hopefully that's a useful way of thinking about this. And it's not exhaustive, and I say I will be looking at doing a melodic aspect to this. So let me know in the comments which of the exercises and the approaches you found most challenging. What are your top tips for scale practice? I'm sure you've got your own things. Click like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And join me back here for the next instalment of whatever's going to be next. Who knows? Could be anything. Could be a course on tie-dyeing.